Is self-love really the answer?
Is
okay.
it?
So, first thing is people will say, if you don't love yourself, how on earth?
I need to turn this on. Playback speed to like 2.
Can you love someone else? And I will say, so easily. It is so easy to love somebody else, right? Because other people are decent human beings. Other people are productive. Other people are kind. Other people have shit going on. So this is like the first thing that I don't get. I find that it is actually way easier to love somebody else than it is to love yourself. It's like you...
Oh, okay. Well, I have an issue with that. All right. Well, self-shame, maybe not self-hate, but whatever. But when you're low self-esteem, it makes it difficult to love another person because I don't feel at the same level as that productive person. I don't feel worthy enough to like court their friendship or to like, because I have no money, I have no career, and that's the first thing that comes up in conversation is like, what do you do for a living? And I don't do anything for a living. And that's what the conversation always falls flat, and they don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. And so these type of like good people I don't surround myself with because I don't feel like I deserve their friendship. But let's go on then.
can be the worst human being on the planet, and if you see a kitten outside in the cold, you can love that kitten so easily. You can love your kids. You can love your spouse. Like, if you fall in love with someone, it is so easy to love other people. So this is the first thing that, like, I don't get that perspective. We're going to talk a little bit about how relationships with self-love, without self-love, can be a problem. So we'll get to that.
Well, like cats and stuff. Cats don't have jobs. Cats don't have like gender culture. You know what I mean? Like cats are just like, yeah, you can cuddle a cat, love on your cat, protect your cat. Yeah, like I can love on a cat and stuff. I just can't love on another person because I don't feel like they deserve scum like me. That's self-hate, huh? That is like self-hate, self-esteem wrapped in, yeah. Okay.
But like, I think sometimes we forget that oftentimes you're the hardest person to love. And I think sometimes people who haven't felt this internal sense of self-loathing, like, don't understand this, right? So a lot of people will be out there and be like, learn to love yourself first, bro, and then you can love someone else. And I think there's like two kinds of people. There's people who sort of needed to discover self-love, and then there's people who have self-loathing. And those aren't quite the same, right? There's some of us who are like, don't really know how to love ourselves, but we're somewhere in like the neutral, like somewhere around zero, and then you have to learn how to love yourself. And then there's those of us who self-loathe. Those of us who go to bed every night saying tomorrow will be different, and then waking up tomorrow and repeating the same fucking day over and over and over again. And then there's like people, like, the reason that it's so hard to love yourself is because you know you, right? Like, you know, like, this person really could be doing so much better. And they kind of choose not to. Because many of us live lives of like not self-love, but like self-appeasement, where it's like, this thing that I'm waking up with today is really not having a great day. So I'm going to just, I don't know, I'm going to order a Philly cheesesteak with a side of fried rice, and I'm going to play Ruby's Resolve until I fix this artificial life on the internet instead of fixing my own. So this is where like...
Yeah. He just sort of described me, and it's making me kind of angry, and I'm holding it back. So it's making me uncomfortable and angry, and I want to stop the video.
I get it. I think that self-love is hard to do on your own. It's really something that I'm starting to sort of get it, but I still really don't. So first thing is when people say, look, it's hard to love other people. You can't love other people unless you learn to love yourself. I don't think that's true. I think it's actually way easier to love other people. I think the other really scary thing is that self-love cannot be learned by you. It has to be taught. This is what's so scary. And there's so much data to back this up. Like, so this idea, right, of like...
I've been in therapy for 4 years weekly. The only therapy thing I missed was when I went to inpatient. I got forced into inpatient. Okay. And yeah, in every session she ends it with, be kind to yourself, be nice to yourself. She says like, do art, do more art, do more music. She's like, do more outside, go cuddle your cat, pictures of the deer. She's just going on and on about like, be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself. And that's why I sort of like repeat her stuff on Twitter and repeat her stuff on TikTok. It's like, be kind to yourself. Practice self-love, is because I'm in the thick of it. That's what I'm going through. Is the opposite of self-love is like actively killing myself and ending up in hospitals for weeks against my will because I'm killing myself. And so I spread self-love because I'm self-loathing. And hopefully it sticks when people rebound it to me, but a lot of people just criticize that. They're just like, because they're in it too, but they haven't accepted that, you know, it's possible to change. They just think they're like stuck there forever. And like she said in the beginning, hold on, here's a clip. It's really good.
New norm of capacity, right?
Yeah,
so now I just have 10 pounds I
So
carry.
how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How did you get down to just one
So
pound
much
of papers?
love for yourself. It starts with
Wait, that
setting
was actually hilarious. With so much love for yourself. Like, I love that is not the answer, and that's what we say to ourselves, and that doesn't help us. This is me thinking self-love is not the answer.
It helps in the sense of like it frees up. It allows you to actually do things. Like I feel like when we are so angry and mean to ourselves, we get really paralyzed, right? So that like perfectionism of like I'm never going to be exactly what I need to be because I'm so messed up is like then I'm not going to try, right? So like I mean, I
That's
like,
sarcastic. That's actually
I wasn't.
Yeah.
That perfectionism of I'm never going to be what I need to be, so I'm not going to try. That's a good thing to repeat to yourself. That perfectionism of I'm never going to be a woman, therefore I'm never going to try. My voice is never going to pass, therefore I'm never going to try. And I thought that in the beginning too, and then I made a lot of progress on it, but now I don't even want to do the voice anymore because I've been making so much progress in therapy that my sense of self is coming back to me. I was very confused about myself for a long time, and I think I'm getting clarity, but it could just be another episode, so I don't know. Probably gonna go through with the scans anyways, and maybe even get FFS, just to be like, I don't know, get FFS and just be a dude with FFS. Is that wrong? What if I want FFS and I be a dude? What if I want to like look like a chick, but I'm a dude? It's AGP. I might be AGP, but anyways, back to this. I'm trying to relate all this to this because self-love, self-hate. I'm trying to make sense of it because a lot of people who you think are in these good positions in life really are self-hating and they kill themselves. So you're like, why is this person, I don't know. But, yeah. So.
And I don't think we can start there.
Which is hilarious. Okay, so that's Dr.
Maybe I
Michaela. You
went
guys don't know Dr. Michaela, she's
off topic
awesome.
there.
She teaches.
I think I went off topic there and I rambled. I said something. I'm probably going to cut that out or something. I don't know. Perfectionist. I'll just leave it in there. But, yeah, let me go on to this part.
Our relationships are determined by our earliest caregivers. So there are three kinds of attachment. There's secure attachment, which about 50% of the people on the planet have. There's anxious attachment, which we'll get to, where people are worried that other people don't like them. So even if you're in a relationship, you don't feel comfortable in that relationship. And then there's 25% of people have anxious attachment. 20% of people have something called avoidant attachment. These are people who have learned that emotional bonds are scary things to be avoided at all costs. And so about 20% of people are avoidant and they actually try to distance themselves. So then 5% of people have disorganized attachment. That's when people have very serious problems growing up. But there's a really good way to sort of understand these three forms of attachment. And I think about it in terms of sex and intimacy. So if you're securely attached, sex becomes an expression of emotional intimacy, right? So I feel a certain way about you. I'm deeply in love. I'm playful. I'm supportive. I feel supported, and so the sexual activity, the physical intimacy, becomes a reflection of that. So sometimes sex is passionate, sometimes it's playful, sometimes it's a chore, which can be totally fine. And then there's anxiously attached people, where sex becomes a hook for emotional intimacy. So these people will oftentimes engage in sexual activity to try to pull someone in emotionally. I'm gonna have sex with you so that you don't abandon me. I'm gonna have sex with you to make you happy. Please stay. I will do whatever you want. And then avoidant attachment people use sex as a barrier to emotional intimacy. This is just a purely physical thing. There's no feelings involved. Once I bucket you into a sexual object and we're in a situationship and it's friends with benefits, then I don't have to deal with all these emotions. I don't want any of these emotions. I don't want any of this emotional connection. That kind of explains these three attachment styles. Okay, we've done a ton of videos on attachment. So here's the scary thing: people who are securely attached tend to have the highest level of self-love. And secure attachment comes through our conditioning. It comes through the way that our parents raised us. So if your parents treat you with respect, if your parents treat you with unconditional love, right?
Ooh. Wait, let's go back to that.
Of I'm playful, I'm supportive, I feel supported, and so the sexual activity, the physical intimacy becomes a reflection of that. So sometimes sex is passionate, sometimes it's playful, sometimes it's a chore, which can be totally fine. And then there's anxiously attached people, where sex becomes a hook for emotional intimacy. So these people will oftentimes engage in sexual activity to try to pull someone in emotionally. I'm gonna have sex with you so that you don't abandon me. I'm gonna have sex with you to make you happy. Please stay. I will do whatever you want. And then avoidant attachment people use sex as a barrier to emotional intimacy. This is just a purely physical thing. There's no feelings involved. Once I bucket you into a sexual object and we're in a situationship and it's friends with benefits, then I don't have to deal with all these emotions. I don't want any of these emotions. I don't want any of this emotional connection. That kind of explains these three attachment styles. Okay, we've done a ton of videos on attachment. So here's the scary thing: people who are secure.
Well, I'm avoidant. I think I'm avoidant. Fork. I'm like avoiding so hardcore that I've been in therapy for 4 years and I've been avoiding everything. I've been avoiding it all because like I just talk to her like because I don't have anyone to talk to. So I talk to my therapist as like a friend, and she constantly wants to do therapy. And I don't know, like, she's trying her best to unstuck me from my position, and I'm trying to get a grasp on my current position, because as I look at myself in the OBS thingy, my face morphs. So I don't even, I don't really, I mean, not that much. It doesn't morph that much, but I look weird a lot of, yeah. And I don't like the way I look. I always want to hide my face. I've always been like this. I've never really wanted to be seen ever. And then therapy happened. And then inpatient happened, and just stuff changes. That's all I gotta say is stuff changes. You know? I used to just, I don't know, just be horrible to myself. Even worse than I am now.
Securely attached tend to have the highest level of self-love. And secure attachment comes through our conditioning. It comes through the way that our parents raised us. So if your parents treat you with respect, if your parents treat you with unconditional love, right, then you learn to love yourself. If I take a kid and I bully him every day, that child will internalize the way that human beings treat them. That's what we do. Like, that's like literally what we do. So if you take a little kid and you say, oh my God, this Witter baby is the second incarnation of Jesus Christ. Oh my God, my Witter baby is the best Witter baby in the world. And my Witter baby has the best poo-poos and the best smile and is just the smartest Witter baby. And anything that he does wrong is not wrong. It's your fault. If you raise a child like that, the child will receive that conditioning and they will become a raging narcissist. They will become incredibly entitled. If I abuse a child growing up, they will internalize a negative sense of self-worth. So the first thing we got to understand, for the majority of human beings on the planet, the way that they determine their self-love is through the way that they're treated. Now, this creates a huge problem because if you were mistreated growing up, if you don't love yourself very much, if you have some degree of self-loathing, which is usually deserved, let's be honest, and I say this as someone who had a lot of self-loathing towards myself, and
Yeah, like growing up and stuff, it's just like self-loathing, playing video games all day long, right? And then nothing changed. Like, no one forced me to. They just, I don't know, my whole life I was able to just disconnect from everything. Everything that required me to do things, I just disconnected. And raised to be disabled. And so I've never really done much with my life. And then, and then what happened? It was the COVID lockdowns, and Pride happened, and then I was being tortured, and then I saw like trans people, and I was like, whoa, they actually have cool timelines, and like, I was like, yeah, I knew a trans person. And then I saw like a bunch of like depressed dudes and then turn into chicks. And they're like happier and it fixed them. And like, I don't know, I just jumped on that and I used the COVID money from that stimulus to buy like wigs and clothes. And then, I don't know, just kept going. And I was like manic. I was saying it for like days when it came out. Oh, I can't remember that. It's like so jarring. Remembering back, it's like a different person. And then just every bad thing happened during that time. Because if I would have came out when I was like a teenager, I would have got abandoned. If I would have came out like, I don't know, I would have got like severely punished. I was thinking of joining the military at 19 and then just transitioning after that or whatever, getting a bunch of money and I don't know. But self-hate. Self-hate, yeah. I am full of self-hate. And that's why I'm constantly harping on self-love, is that I don't think I'm holier than thou. I don't think I'm better than anyone. It's the opposite. I think I'm scum. So that's why I personally preach self-love is because I know how bad it is to be in this state at all times. And to be so self-hating that you actually, slice open your wrists and end up in a hospital against your will. You have to connect with all these other people who did the same thing. And it's just pure love in there. Some people aren't pure love in there, but, there's just people who are ready to change in there. And if you connect with them and form a group, it's just like night and day. It's like, it's beautiful in there. And then I came out and I was like manic again after I came out because I only slept for 2 hours each night for a week. That inpatient. And they gave me like tranquilizers, so I still didn't sleep for more than 2 hours a night. And I had like 5 or 6 of their coffee cups a day, 5 or 6 cups of coffee. And this one guy was like, "Hey Mike, you're drinking coffee again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yep." But I wasn't on weed in there, so I was like, "Yep, yep." And I was like really straightforward in there, and I was like, I don't know. Everyone said they had, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in there. Probably shouldn't talk about, but mostly just like identity stuff. But I don't know. Yeah. Self-hate is a nasty beast. And when you see the youth in it, and the youth are really resistant to it, so they think they're invincible, right? And they're like, I'm never gonna stop self-hating. And they think less of themselves too. And it's like, I don't know. I have like a savior complex or whatever. It's like, I feel like, they're suffering and I want to help them. But anytime I try to help, it's always a clap back of like, you're not helping, and self-love isn't the answer. And, yeah, it's this thing that gets intertwined. It's like, it's not a mental illness that can be cured with therapy. Therefore, applying therapy to the results of gender dysphoria, right? It's like you're applying therapy to the results of gender dysphoria, not to gender dysphoria itself to try to change gender dysphoria. It's like the fallout of that non-passing, like self-hatred of daily, like putting yourself down and just attacking yourself preemptively. Saying you don't pass when you don't really try to pass or haven't really tested passing, right? I don't know, because I passed a couple times when I really wanted to. But then I felt like all the makeup and all the, corset, once that all comes off, it's like, and when I stopped altering my voice, it became, the driving force is different. When you have like identity dissolution or disturbance, it's like the driving force for me was treatment. It was like, if I continue down this path, I will feel better. I will be better. My life will be better. I will be a healthier person. I will be able to operate. I'll be able to make friends. And I even tried to make friends when I first came out, and I was like making friends with tons of people, and it was a placebo of like, you'll feel better after you take HRT, and I did. And people telling you you'll feel better, and then you're like, it's just that sort of thing. Because I'm speaking from a point of view of like, I don't have bottom dysphoria. I want to keep my penis. Like, And a lot of trans chicks they hate their penis. It's like, I've used my penis to top. It's like, I was just noticing all these differences and stuff. And then when the driving force is not dysphoria, like gender dysphoria, I think it's gender dysphoria is more like a reflexive pain. And identity dissolution is more like on top. So it's more like a effort. More effort is put into that driving force. It's conscious. You know what I mean? And then gender dysphoria is like underneath the surface, subconscious, reflex. You're changing your voice because to alter your voice to the masculine would be painful. So it's like touching a hot stove. You automatically change your voice back. But for me, it's not touching that hot stove. It's more like, it's more like a anxiety, right? Or it's more like a shame, self-esteem based thing of what will people think of me if I have a masculine voice and I look like, like what will people think? More of trying to fit in, I guess. More of trying to, like, I won't be trans enough. I won't be woman enough. People aren't going to gender me correctly as a woman, right? If my voice is not passing. And that was the goal. Like, that was the goal in my identity. It just feels weird. It feels different. Like, the goal is to pass, right? It feels like I gamified it. I gamified transitioning to give me a purpose. Because I'm trying to apply all this therapy stuff because I've been avoiding it because it's so fucking painful and difficult and nerve-wracking. And, they're like, which way are you going to go? Are you going to get FFS? Or, who are you? You keep, venting about you don't know who you are, identity confusion. Session after session, still don't know who the fuck I am. And so I'm trying to like a Taurus, I'm trying to just fucking bullheadedly go through it right now. And it's not fun. I'm sweating. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, but I'm trying to speak from that reflex that all the other people speak from, and not from a desire to fit in to any label. Like, I don't care if I'm trans. I don't care if I'm cis. I just want to be me. I don't even know who that is, because my entire life has been homeschool, has been suppression and repression and just dissociation in video games. Like, yeah. I have never, ever had purpose in my life. And transitioning, gave me purpose. I'm not transitioning, I don't have a purpose. So it's scary to, stop transitioning and then I don't have a purpose anymore.